What's up today, 49ers faithful? Drew Kerr, 49ers Sports Talk. Today I wanted to take a look at the rookies versus vets and what that's going to look like in 4 weeks, and then preseason right around the corner, how all these vets and rookies are going to match up in training camp and what that might look like come mid-July. Let's dive in. All right, so I'm going to start with the offense and just kind of work our way down and then switch gears and look at some of the defense. I'm not going to do this in order of draft picks. So, I'm going to start with Ricky Pearsall. And I think that the most intriguing thing for me is to see him up against Charvarius Ward, Mooney Ward. He's one of the top, at least top 10 corners in the NFL. You could argue top 5. PFF had him ranked at 3. There's some questions about some of their rankings lately. But they do take their time and dig deep. And, with the advanced stats, they are adding all sorts of data to the equation. Some of it gets jumbled up a little bit and they don't always get it right. But, Charvarius Ward, 3rd, top 5, in my opinion, in the NFL. Definitely top 10. Very hard to argue against that. So Ricky Pearsall, they're going to test him early and often. They're going to jam him at the line. And not just with Ward, they're going to use Lenore on him too. And Lenore is very scrappy. So Ricky Pearsall is going to get introduced to the NFL very quickly as soon as the pads go on. And, I can't wait. I don't know who it's going to be. And, we'll talk about all the players, but who it's going to be that just gets that welcome to the NFL, rookie moment. And who it's going to come from. I think I got a hunch potentially because running backs and linebackers always sort of go the hardest in camp. And we'll get to that in a minute. But, Lenore and Ward matching up on him. And you could even throw Isaac Yiadom into that equation. And, Ricky, and not just Ricky Pearsall, Jacob Cowing is also going to have his hands full when the pads go on. He has a weight disadvantage against some of these guys. He is a little twitchy and a little bit quick. So, Lenore is actually going to probably have his work cut out because he's going to be working that slot. Cowing's probably going to work out of the slot. So those two will match up quite a bit as well. But, obviously Ricky Pearsall is our first round draft pick. And, he's going to be going up against an all-pro corner and right off the bat. So anytime that he may face somebody that's not as good as Ward on any other team, very interested to see how he does against the Saints veteran cornerbacks. They have some very good cornerbacks there in the, that week, the joint practices, and then the preseason game ultimately, which got announced is actually going to be primetime game. So we're going to get to see Ricky, probably going to see Josh Dobbs or Darnold more than we're going to see Purdy. Purdy might get a series, maybe 2 if the first series doesn't go so well. But obviously a lot of the starters are going to sit the entire preseason. It's a very long season. They added a 17th game. So a lot of the vets, Christian McCaffrey probably won't suit. Trent Williams won't dress. Kittle might dress just to get in there and, give, if Purdy's in there, give Purdy a little bit of security blanket. But a lot of these guys are not going to, especially Christian McCaffrey is not going to perform. But, I think that is probably going to be one of the most intriguing camp battles. Ricky Pearsall, Jacob Cowing versus those 3 corners. And there's other corners too. Samuel Womack is scrappy. Darrell Luter Jr. had a really good OTA. He might come on and he's, a lot of the beat writers are raving about how well he looked. So, if he can stay healthy, I think Luter's got a really good shot to make this team. He did kind of have that blunder in the Super Bowl where the ball kicked off his ankle, kind of gave us PTSD from Kyle Williams back in the day. But for me, this is obviously the most intriguing. It's our first round draft pick. We want to see how he does, if he can shake off press coverage. And if he does, is he running for a touchdown on Ward and guys like that. So very intrigued to see that. Very hopeful that Ricky Pearsall, after enough reps, will feel very comfortable playing in the NFL because there are some dogs at the corner position already veteran-wise for the 49ers. All right, and moving right along to running backs, obviously Garendo was drafted in the 4th. Schrader was undrafted, but probably should have been drafted considering, how well he did in the SEC. He was probably the best running back in the entire SEC. I think that there were a few knocks on him, tight hipness, and just things that are kind of like stupid to even look at. I mean, they matter a little bit, but like, I think that him not getting drafted is our steal. I think he's going to be the steal of all of the undrafted free agents. And fortunately, he came here, and I think that if he shows out well in the preseason and everything like that, he's a lock to make this roster. Guerendo is actually, I think Guerendo is a little bit more shaky, because of his lack of experience playing running back in college. And, he started out playing wide receiver. He's got very good hands out of the backfield. So screen passes and all that kind of stuff combined with his speed and size could be dangerous. But he is going to have to face Fred Warner. He's going to have to face Devontae Campbell, who, is one season removed from being an All-Pro. The two guys who were rookies last year have a little bit of experience now. Graham has a little bit less like playing experience, but he does have, all the mental reps that he took and things like that. So he's going to be up to speed for camp this year if he's 100% healthy. But D. Winters is going to be another guy. I think Fred Warner is always yapping. He's always talking. So he's going to try to get in these rookies' heads. He's going to try to shake them. He's going to try to rattle them. And if Dre Greenlaw was healthy, he'd be out there doing the same thing. And, fortunately for these rookies, Dre isn't out there also. It's just going to be Fred trying to mess with them and get in their heads and actually strengthen them because, iron sharpens iron. And, Fred is the type of guy that he wants to see the team succeed. He's a team guy, but he is going to try to rattle these guys and just see if they can make it in the NFL. He is a pro's pro, but he's not afraid to, try to get in somebody's head to see where their mental state is and kind of check them like that. So very intrigued to see that training camp matchup with those guys. Schrader's a little bit smaller. He's a little bit more shifty. And so I don't know, I'm not really sure out of those two rookies who's going to shine the most. There's no pads on things like that, no OTAs. Everybody was raving about Schrader, Larry Krueger in specific. I mean, they all were. Lombardi, even Grant Cohn. A lot of these guys did say good things about Schrader. So, I believe that he did have very good OTAs, but running back doesn't really show his value and his worth until the pad's gone. So this is a very intriguing matchup. I think that there's going to be a lot of sparks, a lot of fireworks coming out of training camp, and we're going to hear a lot of things. But one of the things that you can be assured of is that Fred Warner will be talking. He will be chirping. Even if he's on the sidelines, he will be chirping at these guys. So that's going to be a fun one. I can't wait. Linebackers versus running backs. Guerendo versus Fred Warner. Schrader versus Fred Warner and the other linebackers. All right, and moving on into the trenches, this is where it's going to get a little bit dirty, especially when the pads go on. Pooney, Kingston, and Nugent are going to have their hands full. Nick Bosa, arguably the best defensive end in the entire NFL. Obviously, there's J.J. Watt and some others, but, Bosa is definitely top two, maybe one. There's definitely some argument there for that. Anyhow, it's not just Bosa. It's Leonard Floyd. This guy still has speed. He's still a speedy edge rusher. He has technique. He's a seasoned veteran. He's going to give these guys, obviously most of these guys are going to be playing interior, but there will be some stunts and things like that happen that these guys are going to be forced to move and get off there, and it's going to get complicated. This is not a college defense anymore. It's an NFL, full-blown NFL defense. Sorensen coming over from Seattle, Staley coming over from the Chargers. It's definitely going to be something to monitor, and these guys, it's going to be sink or swim for some of them, and some of these guys that were drafted later on and undrafted even are going to have their hands full with every single one of these guys is a seasoned veteran. Javon Hargrave, the Gravedigger, Leonard Floyd, Malik Collins, and then even throwing guys like Jordan Elliott and Givens and all these guys who have had years of NFL experience. They're going to throw the kitchen sink at these rookies, and if they're not in their playbooks and if they're not in their assignments and things like that, I think they're gonna get swallowed up and they're gonna get buried on the depth chart. So they better be ready. And camp is, like I said, it's 4 weeks away. So these guys better be in their playbooks, be on their assignments, and know this like the back of their hand, or they're gonna get eaten up in camp. I have more faith in Pooney. He participated at the Senior Bowl. He held his own. They're kind of implementing NFL concepts and things like that at the Senior Bowl. So he was one of the standouts, and I expect him to kind of continue to go arrow up and progress through the training camp. And then, against opposing teams, he's got a tenacious swagger about it. Like he's got swagger. He's got the mentality. He's got the mental makeup of an NFL lineman, and he's scrappy. He's not afraid. He fears nothing. But, where he's going to have to separate himself is by getting in the playbook, is by, studying the playbook, and then having it be second nature to him. But I think this guy's going to do it. I think he's going to catch on quick. I think potentially even Kingston is going to be a guy that maybe is solid depth behind Banks or Burford or Feliciano, whoever gets that position. And I think that both those guys have a really good shot to become great pros in this system, and especially with Chris Forrester as one of the assistants. So I'm looking forward to those battles too. And time's going to tell for these guys, and it's either sink or swim. Moving on to defense. And, as the saying goes, defense wins championships. So if you're drafting really good defensive players, you got a really good shot at winning titles and championships and things like that, and even the division. So I'm going to start out with Renardo Green. Love this kid coming out of Florida State. I've already done some videos on the rookies and things like that, but we're talking about the matchups today. Green is going to have his hands full right away, especially if the 49ers can get Brandon Ayuk in camp before it starts. Purdy's already has chemistry with him, so Green will definitely have his hands full with BA. He'll definitely have his hands full with Debo. Debo is a seasoned veteran. He can, he's not the fastest guy. He's not going to light you up. He's not going to separate a whole lot, but he knows just these little nuances, and he knows enough just to get a little bit open. And if Green's off his assignment even a little bit, Debo's going to make him pay. And then he's going to make him pay after he catches the ball, because Debo is like a running back, and Green is, he's a thinner corner. He's going to probably need to grow into an NFL body, an NFL corner body, so he's pretty ripped, but I think he could add just a little bit of muscle. He's a little bit on the thinner side. So there's also Jawan Jennings, and then guys like Danny Gray, who has been injured but does possess speed. Is he going to get on top of guys like Green with a double move? Tay Martin's been in a practice squad guy for a few years, but he knows the system. He knows all these things. He's gonna challenge rookies, especially a rookie like Green. And then Trent Taylor, obviously not a speedy guy, slot guy. If they try Green on the inside, they're probably going to move Green around because he is versatile. So they're going to stick him in the slot when Lenore's not in there. They're going to get him reps in there. So Trent Taylor, can cook him up a little bit too. It's that veteran thing, and just these small little nuances and tricks of the trade that these guys learn along the way throughout an NFL career. And so all these veterans are going to challenge Green right away. But the thing I love about Green is he's scrappy. He's not going to back down. He'll get beat, but he'll come back as a rabid dog the next play. So he's not going to back down. This guy has the mental makeup to, be an NFL player. Can't wait to see him against some of these veterans. And yeah, I think that, the sky's the limit. And just sticking with the secondary, Malik Mustafa, guy's built like a linebacker. I don't know if the Niners are going to tell him to just gain a little bit more weight and just move him into a linebacker position. Or maybe he's going to be this hybrid guy that can, go into a 3 safety look and present problems that way. I know that Seattle, I think, did that a little bit. Might have been when Sorensen was there. They would stick 3 safeties in there. I know that Staley's done it in his career some. So there are some 3 safety looks that we might get. And imagine Jair Brown, Mustafa, and Hufanga when Hufanga is fully healed, all in there at the same time. And then getting Dre back later in the year, and then Fred. That's a problem. That's a big problem. If Yidom or Green or any of these guys winds up being the starter on the other side of Ward and Lenore, I mean, this defense is going to be brutal. Obviously there's some questions along the defensive line, especially the interior. Hargrave isn't great against the run defense, and you know, Malik Collins and Jordan Elliott are to be determined. Like we don't know what they're going to look like until we know. So those are question marks, but this defense I think can be better than last year. They're going to be a little bit more youthful, a little bit more quick. Guys like D Winters are probably going to get added in. Maybe Jalen Graham, if he can get back 100% healthy, maybe he is. But we're going to see him in camp, and we're going to see that battle between D Winters and Jalen Graham, last year's rookies. But Malik Mustafa, Renardo Green, can't wait to see how they look, especially playing along some of the, training camp is all about mixing guys in and seeing how they look with, starters, so that once, if there is an injury or anything like that and they have to come in a pinch, how their chemistry is with the other, 11 or 10 guys or whatever it may be. So yeah, very much looking forward to these two new additions in the secondary, and even Mahoney out of Vanderbilt, played here in Tennessee where I'm living. And so I think that, yeah, I can't wait to see those three guys. I'm very excited. Actually, I think Mahoney has a really good chance of making this team too. Even if it is a practice squad spot, he's going to be battling guys like Taylor Hawkins, who's been here for a couple years now. And then Tatum Bethune is the last guy, linebacker out of Florida State, Renardo Green's teammate, tenacious on the field. That Florida State defense was crazy. I mean, the Rams just got Fisk. The NFC West just kind of, scooped up that whole defense from Florida State. They were ballers over there. And so, Bethune's going to get his chance against Winters and Graham, and who knows? There's hidden gems that pop out of nowhere all the time. Brock Purdy's living proof of that. So you never know. I mean, you just never know. He's got an opportunity. He's got the op in front of him, and he just has to seize the moment. And he's going to actually have to, cover guys like CMC, who are probably going to make him look stupid. CMC makes everybody look stupid, especially coming out of the backfield. He goes this way, makes you think he's going that way, and then he goes this way, and then you're totally lost, especially if you aren't understanding what the defense is trying to do, if you don't stay in your lane, if you don't have any kind of gap control against the run, things like that, you're gonna get exposed. So it's gonna be interesting to see how these rookies mix in, and I can't wait. I'm very excited. I know it's 4 weeks away. 4 weeks goes by fast, guys. So we're almost there. We're almost to the season. We're almost to, I think it's August 10th is the first preseason game, if I'm not mistaken, against the Titans. I'll likely be going to that game. Going to try to take some really good footage of that and provide you guys with some cool stuff if I'm able to. As always, guys, thanks for tuning in. If you're new here, please don't forget to like and subscribe on your way out, and also drop a comment on which rookies and vets matchups that you guys are most looking forward to, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care of yourself.